there it is, would actually be how many of you are below 18 years old? Wow. Okay, how many of you are left-handed? Okay, how many of you have green eyes? Okay, great. How many of you are introverted? Great. How many of you play football for your high school football team? Okay, how many of you ever wore or wear braces right now? Okay, how many of you play video games? Of course. How many of you don't wear glasses or contacts? Perfect. And how many of you are kinesthetic learners? Okay, great. So the final questions, how many of you had no idea what that last question meant? Yep, okay. See, how many of you actually paid attention to the amount of hands that went up for each time? Great. How many of you didn't actually pay attention at all? Don't worry, don't blame yourself. Okay, see, this is the reason why I'm doing these questions. So, last question. How many of you think that you're part of a small minority? And maybe not all of you. However, if you look at these statistics, all of you rose your hand for something, and you can see most of these percentages, this is how you create to the rest of the world, they're pretty much below 40%. So, if you were, you're probably part of a minority, and you probably didn't even know that. So, why does this matter? Well, I remember, if maybe you do too, like remember the socially awkward kid probably in school that you either made fun of, or was that socially awkward person in school that you got made fun of? I was that person. Well, anyways, you realize that all of these are pretty much social norms and you pretty much just made fun of them for being different, for being who they are. However, and yeah, to be honest, I'm that person. I'm literally the shortest person in my freshman classroom in high school. So I'm usually picked on a lot. I did get a noogie one time. So, but really, you realize that even though you're all different, why is being different such a bad thing and why do we bully people because of it? Well, being different really isn't bad because you get to think differently, you get to think less, you get to be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of somebody else. You get to be yourself and it's less stressful. However, in the past, history has proven that if you were different, it's literally a bad thing because views were always dismissed and being different was literally the socially awkward thing to be. And we've all seen minority conflicts, such as like religion, ethnicity, or traits. We're all part of that at some point in our lives. However, these people who are part of the minority always led to the revolution. These people up here, Martin Luther King Jr., Albert Einstein, John Cage, they all did something that you probably even know that made them change the entire world just because they were different. And to be honest, all these people up here, some famous people, Leonardo da Vinci, Gandhi, these people, they were all part of a minority and, you know, being different wasn't bad. They're the only people who could actually change the world in means of pretty much anything. So, the small majority, back to that first slide, what is it? If you realize that back when I did the statistics page, if you add up all of those percentage points, it actually equals 142%. That is technically impossible. However, that technically means, even though if you did raise your hand to one of them, you're not part of a minority. You're technically part of something bigger. You're part of something that you probably didn't even know that you were bigger and part of. So you were pretty much part of the entire world that you'd want to be in. And pretty much any person who wants to stand up, who's different, the people who have spoken here, the people who are about to speak, pretty much they're the small majority that here is the ones who are going to be different and will change the world. And so if you ever do feel down on yourself, you know, one of my teachers, they told me don't feel sorry for being different because that's who you are and that's what makes you unique. And if you are bullied because you're being different, don't listen to them because it's okay to be different. And really, the small group of individual people who actually wanted to change the world, they're really the people who actually were going to change the world anyway. So embrace being different.